Michael Jackson, born August 29, 1958, Gary, Indiana, U.S. died June 25, 2009, Los Angeles, California was an American singer, songwriter, and dancer who was the most popular entertainer in the world in the early and mid-1980s, reared in Gary, Indiana. In one of the most acclaimed musical families of the rock era, Michael Jackson was the youngest and most talented of 5 brothers whom his father, Joseph, shaped into a dazzling group of child stars known as the Jackson 5. In addition to Michael, the members of the Jackson 5 were Jackie Jackson by name of Sigmund Jackson. B. May 4, 1951, Gary, Tito Jackson by name of Toriano Jackson. B. October 15, 1953, Gary, Jermaine Jackson B. December 11, 1954, Gary, and Marlon Jackson B. March 12, 1957, Gary. Motown Records president Berry Gordy, Jr., was impressed with the group and signed them in 1969. Sporting the loudest fashions, the largest afros, the snappiest choreography, and a youthful, soulful exuberance, the Jackson 5 became an immediate success. They scored 4 consecutive #1 pop hits with I Want You Back, ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There in 1970. With Michael topping the pop charts as a solo performer, with Ben and reaching #2 with Rockin' Robin, and with the Jackson 5 producing trend-setting dance tracks such as Dancing Machine, the family's string of hits for Motown lasted through 1975. As Michael matured, his voice changed, family tensions arose, and a contract standoff ensued. The group finally broke with Motown, moving to Epic Records as the Jacksons. Jermaine remained at Motown as a solo performer and was replaced by his youngest brother, Randy Jackson in full Stephen Randall Jackson. B. October 29, 1961. As a recording act, the Jacksons enjoyed consistent success through 1984, and their sister Janet Jackson embarked on her own singing career in the early 1980s. However, Michael's solo albums took on an entirely different status. Jackson's first solo effort for Epic, Off the Wall 1979, exceeded all expectations and was the best-selling album of the year. It eventually sold more than 20 million copies. Produced by industry veteran Quincy Jones, Off the Wall yielded the massive international hit singles Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You, both of which showcased Michael's energetic style and capitalized on the contemporary disco dance fad. 3 years later he returned with another collaboration with Jones, Thriller, a tour de force that featured an array of guest stars and elevated him to worldwide superstardom. Thriller captured a slew of awards, including a record-setting 8 Grammys, remained on the charts for more than 2 years, and sold more than 40 million copies, long holding the distinction of being the best-selling album in history. The first single on the album, The Girl Is Mine, an easygoing duet with Paul McCartney, went to #1 on the rhythm and blues charts and #2 on the pop charts in the fall of 1982. The follow-up single, Billy Jean, an electrifying dance track and the vehicle for Jackson's trademark moonwalk dance, topped the pop charts, as did Beat It, which featured a raucous solo from famed guitarist Eddie Van Halen. Moreover, Beat It helped break down the artificial barriers between black and white artists on the radio and in the emerging format of music videos on television. By 1984, Jackson was renowned worldwide as the King of Pop. His much-anticipated Victory reunion tour with his brothers was one of the most popular concert events of 1984. In 1985, Jackson and Lionel Richie co-wrote We Are the World, the signature single for USA for Africa, an all-star project aimed at famine relief. Further solo albums: Bad 1987, which produced 5 chart-topping hits, among them the title song and Man in the Mirror, and Dangerous 1991, much of which was produced by New Jack Swing sensation Teddy Riley, solidified Jackson's dominance of pop music. In 2001 he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Jackson 5 were inducted in 1997. Jackson's eccentric, secluded lifestyle grew increasingly controversial in the early 1990s. His reputation was seriously damaged in 1993 when he was accused of child molestation by a 13-year-old boy he had befriended. A civil suit was settled out of court. In 1994, Jackson secretly married Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis Presley, but their marriage lasted less than 2 years. Shortly thereafter, Jackson married again, this marriage producing children, though it too ended in divorce. While he remained an international celebrity, his image in the United States was slow to recover. And it suffered even more in November 2003 when he was arrested and charged with child molestation. Called to testify in Jackson's defense during the trial that ensued was actor Macaulay Culkin, who had met and become friends with Jackson when he was 9 years old and Jackson was an adult. Culkin said they bonded over their common experiences of having to deal with fame at a young age and having overbearing fathers. Culkin maintained that he had never experienced anything inappropriate with Jackson. After a 14-week trial that became something of a media circus, Jackson was acquitted in 2005. In the wake of these events, Jackson suffered a financial collapse that resulted in the sale of many of his considerable assets, including, ultimately, his lavish Neverland ranch. He was preparing for a series of high-profile concerts he hoped would spark a comeback when he died suddenly of cardiac arrest on June 25, 2009, prompting a widespread outpouring of grief from his fans that culminated in a memorial celebration of his life and legacy on July 7 at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, featuring tributes by friends and luminaries such as Stevie Wonder, Berry Gordy, Jr., Brooke Shields, and Al Sharpton. In August 2009, the coroner ruled Jackson's death a homicide. The cause was a lethal combination of sedatives and propofol, an anesthetic. In November 2011, Jackson's personal physician was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. The documentary film This Is It, which drew from more than 100 hours of footage compiled during rehearsals for Jackson's scheduled 50-concert comeback engagement in London, premiered in October 2009. Also in 2009, Jackson's 14-minute music video Thriller 1983, directed by John Landis, was inducted into the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress, the first music video to be so honored. Later documentaries included Leaving Neverland 2019, which centers on two men who allege that Jackson sexually abused them when they were children.